The streets are saying the new LF Vegeta is flat out trash. All right, guys, welcome back. My name is DFree, and we are taking a look at the new Vegeta. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. No, this is not a showcase. This video is strictly on the discourse as it pertains to the new Vegeta. So with the Vegeta, I mean, I did my breakdown video for him and his kit. If you're wondering about like what I'm thinking and what I'm planning on doing, it's just flat out skipping this because on the off chance that there's like a Gohan that comes out in a couple of weeks that's an Ultra, you know, I gotta be all in for that. In fact, I think there are a few candidates, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get an Ultra Gohan because I mean it's Cell Saga campaign, but also because Beast is coming to Dokkan, and then we can have Dokkan and Legends also doing Gohan hybrid stuff, you know, at the same time. A lot of times there's cross promotion like that going on. I mean, a lot of times there's flat out the same character, like when Cooler came out here, he came out there, things like that. But I wouldn't be surprised. And before Beast Gohan pops up, no. So the funny thing about Vegeta is, you guys have been seeing this loop video here for a minute now, is that the discourse on him is not what I expected. People are talking dirty about this guy. So I want to know what you guys think watching this video. Post your opinions on Vegeta if you have him. What do you think about him? You appreciate him, underappreciate him, or do you, I don't want to say underappreciate, but are you like, you know, skeptical of him? Have you played against him? You think he sucks? You think he's great? You think he's underrated? You think people are dramatic? What do you think? So anyway, here's this video where Vegeta is going at Super 17, right? Let's just go ahead and put it in full screen. So Super 17 goes for a tap shot here, and normally, well, this would be fine, right? Especially because it turns into a stop clock, and he's still in the tap shot animation, and Vegeta is one of, I think, 2 characters, I think the only other one is Yellow Gotenks, that has a long-range ultimate, so he can hit you on a sidestep, things like that. But you got to be real peculiar, and this is a super specific scenario with a new meta character that has the ability to absorb these cards. And what happens is, since it can be absorbed, because it's a key shot, right? It's a key shot. Dude, that is disgusting. That's actually disgusting. Again, most people wouldn't. So there was a video that surfaced first before this one where somebody just like did it like almost like willy-nilly, just kind of threw it, and then the response was, oh, most people aren't just gonna throw their ultimate. Oh, be serious. This is actually legitimately a problem. This is a stop clock right here. This is a normal action most players are doing, where on a stop clock you're gonna throw your blue card or something like that. You know, like it's a normal interaction, right? So the fact 17's over here drooling over that ultimate is, and the fact he can do it to an ultimate is also just flat out disgusting. So I assume Gotenks falls victim to that as well. So then I saw, and I bookmarked all this because your boy had to chronicle it, right? And I'm not preying on the downfall of Vegeta. I actually feel really bad that this Vegeta is, I don't want to say he's not good. I think he is, obviously, but I think that, you know what, where the real problem with Vegeta is when you compare him to 17, who just released a couple of weeks ago. You know, that's where the real problem is. If you watch my breakdown video, I specifically said there's not one thing I think in Vegeta's kit that's oppressive or anywhere near as broken as 17's green card. It's flat out nothing, right? And that green card reaction that we just saw, that led to a whole other, you know, slew of effects. Look at the ceiling and stuff going on, right? So anyway, it's just kind of weird. So then there was this post here. Shout out to everybody that's in the video, Raizu, everybody. So they're now asking for Legends, the dev team, to buff Vegeta, basically, give him a balance change similar to Goku and Frieza got. I've said this before, and I've got to make this very clear. The balance change did not happen as a result of stuff like this. It seems like it because people were upset about Goku. I don't know why, really. In retrospect, they're not a big problem anymore, but in retrospect, I don't really know why. I thought they were fine. I thought if you put a character out that's not top 1 in the game, but it's still top 5, that's perfectly fine. Like, for game balance reasons, but then they overtuned and became the best, right? But the reason why the balance change happened was because the character was not performing the way they wanted it to internally, right? So they saw the character had flaws, which is hilarious, by the way, because there are other characters like this Vegeta, as you know, evidenced by the video, that if they did more testing, they would see it just ain't great. There's a meme where it's like, oh, this character totally wasn't tested before he released, and on one side it's the Red Beast Gohan, who just blows stuff up, right? He just blows stuff up, and on the other side it's the same thing, but it's Vegeta. right? Because Gohan somehow slipped through the cracks while Vegeta didn't. Not to mention all the other broken mechanics that came out during the celebration, like Indestructible and stuff like that. But basically this post is, and I'm not opposed to this, right? I'll even retweet it for the cause. But I just want to make sure people understand. It seemed like it because people were upset, and then like a day or two later, they came out with this whole thing. Oh, we're going to balance change these characters, but that's not how that worked, right? I'm giving you as much as I can give you with it, you know, being, you know. So anyway, yeah, it's just interesting because it seems like it because the timing of it all. But no, they were already going to buff that character. That's basically what I'm saying. So anyway, take that, do with that what you will. But nonetheless, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But they also, if you remember on that post when Vegeta and Goku and Frieza, excuse me, got the buff, they specifically said like 4 different times in different language, we're not doing this again. We will not balance change again. We are not planning to do this again. Because they were very careful to make sure that you knew that, so that if the need arose again, or if the situation arose again where a character was underperforming, that wouldn't be the default, right? Now, it may happen here, and if it happens here, it is in response to, because I've heard nothing about the character potentially underperforming on their side. They were obviously okay with this. It's just really jarring on the heels of like 17 and Goku, you know, like these really strong characters, where Vegeta just kind of drops, and it's just like, he would have been really, really good prior to them, you know, 6 months ago, he would have been amazing. And he does do some really, really good things. He's definitely usable as a character. It's just he's not as broken as most people were hoping he would be, things like that. I do think, for the record, if Vegeta Clan gets one more really, really strong character to tie it all together, then that would be fine. And I don't think it's as drastic as Vegeta needing a platinum equip. I saw some posts about how the other Super Vegeta shouldn't have got it, which he shouldn't, because there was no saving that unit. If you look back to my video reaction to that, that yellow Super Vegeta was just so gimped, there was no way to save that character with 1 equip. Like, he needs 3 of those things. And then the equip they gave him just was kind of like, they were just like, well, there's no way to do anything here, so we'll just give him whatever, right? So anyway, they were saying that this new Vegeta should have got it, right? So anyway, let's keep going. But basically, there's outcry to now buff this character. And then I woke up, I think it was yesterday, to Lewis posting all these memes on this Vegeta. Oh my God, hold on. It popped it up on the side for some reason. I didn't want to see it on the side. What happened? Let me fix this. All right, so let me rewind it. Look at all these memes, bro. They're just a potential fraud. Who invited my man? What does he even do? Oh my God, he said report. I didn't even see this part. Bullying? It's bullying, isn't it? God, dude, he didn't do nothing but step back. Oh, that one is criminal. This one is criminal. The blue Vegeta there counter. Oh, it's not that drastic, bro. It's not, but it's hilarious. And I don't want to like make it seem like I'm preying on his downfall, but it's just funny, man. Then Brad tweeted, so it does in fact look like Vegeta is a fraud. Hate to see it. This is because this day, Valentine's Day, I was busy then. But everything was kind of coming out, right? So you see I bookmarked all these like yesterday. Then there was a post saying, I will not elaborate. And they put Vegeta on place of the other Vegeta for that tag character. And if you remember the last time, I don't know if this is the last time, but one of the last times we had a real, I don't even know if this is that. I don't think it is. In fact, for the record, I didn't think they were good, but I thought they were usable. I guess maybe this is that, right? I don't think Vegeta's great, but I think he's usable. I thought Goku and Vegeta were usable. Like, you could use them. They just weren't great. So, and it sucks when a new character that comes out isn't great. That's the point. But they're saying I will not elaborate, and that's a situation where that was one of the characters that was pretty similar to this. I don't want to say the last one, but maybe not. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look at the releases. But nonetheless, we get Ryuden quoting it. Of all people, Ryuden. Bro does not need to elaborate. It's clear the devs hate Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta. And then the cry emoji. I just gotta say, the devs obviously don't hate these characters. If you seriously think the devs don't hate these characters, then I don't know what to say. Because there's no reason to produce characters and purposely gimp them to make them look crappy because you quote unquote hate them and ruin your own bottom line. Right? There's no reason to do that. Really what it is it's a product of not testing the characters. Now, if the argument is they hate these characters because they don't put out enough of them, that's a little bit of a different argument. Though I will say the characters that they reportedly like a lot behind the scenes don't get a lot of releases. It is what it is, but unless it's somebody generic like Goku, who everybody likes, right? But you get the point. So, nonetheless, though, I thought this was hilarious. I thought this one was hilarious, especially my boy Rai quoting it. Then we have Goresh saying, these are the changes I'd make to Super Vegeta. I don't think this one is outrageous. He says here, it charges the gauge by 30% and it's switched to 99%. I don't have any evidence to suggest why I would like this. But, oh, it's on the battle start. Okay, that's fair. Starting with the gauge basically full for the battle is not a bad change. I don't think that's a bad change. What's the other one he had? The green card. Oh, giving the green card the ability to nullify. Okay. Dude, nullify in 3 spots? That could be a lot. Because he gets a what on the main, right? And then on the charge, the gauge being full. Then another on the green? That's actually a lot. 3 nullifies is kind of crazy. I saw outcry about him getting it on the gauge. Which, I'm not, like, super mad about that. I think he might have been better if he got it on entry instead, because he draws that strike, right? He probably needed it there. But remember, Vegeta also has that cooler mechanic, or that, not even cooler, like that fat boo mechanic. So it's like, it's a little bit of a give and take, right? He's got a lot of tools, right? That's why I said I don't think he's bad. But I think the 30% is fine. I don't know if I would go as far as the second one, personally. Because at that point, you have a character that's always nullifying, and yeah, we have characters like that already, like Vegeta Blue, who's like almost always nullifying, but I don't think that more of them is the answer. That's the point. So like, some people would have a different opinion on that, and they would say, okay, the game is already ruined, then just keep ruining it, who cares? And I sometimes have that opinion, by the way, but in this case, like, I don't want to see too many characters that have like nullify, because there's no counterplay to them. That's the point. Like, out of all the mechanics, like indestructible, blah blah blah, there are a few that you don't have counterplay to, like nullify, cover change, especially no switch, right? Things like that. You have a character that has, you know, a combination of both in multiple spots. Like, I don't really want more. I don't really want more. But also, by the same vein, I've been quoted as like, you know, like the game's already like kind of screwed. I don't care about releasing of this character, that mechanic, blah blah blah. No, I do care about mechanics. I still complain about mechanics. I complain about indestructible, but for the most part, I don't care about like any Zenkais or things like that, right? So Lewis also had a separate situation with this. In fact, this might be the one where they're like, oh, you won't just throw it out willy-nilly. I'm not sure if this is it. But another situation with Vegeta and the ranged ultimate, where he did that, and then right here, if this was a standard ultimate and not a ranged one, he would get priority right here. But because blast-based mechanics take a little bit longer to activate, he's going to lose, as opposed to the opponent going for a dash in, right? He gets this, yeah, he lands a strike first. That little animation play out where the character has to launch the blast, that little half second does matter. It does also matter with regular blast arts versus strikes. If he did a regular blast in this situation, the strike art would have also gotten priority. You have to have the strike arts there. Or you got to be sidestepping, right? So yeah, the point of this is that this could have been handled differently, but you shouldn't have to play this differently than every other character in the game except for one, right? That's the point here, I guess, why people will be upset about this. It's just dirty that like his ultimate can be cheesed that way. But again, it can be like that Super 17 situation is exclusive to Super 17 or other 17 variants. By the way, I'm pretty sure you can cover change in and like have it absorbed that way, can't you? So like, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's stuff specific to 17. BLZ says, so Streets are saying he ate that guy. And like, if you open up any of these threads and see the replies, man, the replies are something else. But there are also a decent number of replies that are like saying the things I've been saying, where it's like, he's okay, he's usable, you know, things like that, right? So there is some of that, and you could argue some of that is like coping, but like, I'm not a Vegeta, like, I don't dislike Vegeta, but I'm not like a Vegeta guy, right? So I have no leg in this fight. I don't really care if he's good or not, personally. So I don't really think I would be coping, right? But, you know, so we have another one here. And so I just gotta say, I think I have 2 of these. Yeah, I think I have 2. There's another one here. Oh, this has nothing to do with it. I like this one. This is a separate bookmark. I think I have 2 of these in here. I just gotta say, this is a little disingenuous. Either I have 2 or I saw 2. So there are situations where Vegeta is failing to kill Ultra Instinct Goku. and he's getting called mid or whatever. And these are a little disingenuous. Why? Because if you're going to try to beat MUI Goku with an ultimate, you're going to have a tough time. Or UI Goku. You're going to have a tough time because he handles ultimates fine. In fact, that's why Beast was so good against him, because Beast will blow you up with the blue card. He doesn't have an ultimate. So, and UI Goku specifically doesn't deal with special moves. He deals with ultimates. For ultimates, he does all that crap, right? He triggers all those effects. He even goes neutral. So you're not going to kill him, especially from full life on an ultimate, unless you have some sort of crazy advantage. So it is what it is. So watch right here. Basically did nothing. Basically did nothing. But then the funny thing is, I forgot this is the clip where he winds up dying with him. He couldn't win this. He's taking back more damage than he did. He's gonna lose the ultimate right here. Ooh, he's got the goosebumps. But again, disingenuous because UI went neutral there, right? So like, this is where I get into problems with the color thing. It's like, yeah, colors exist. You have to consider the colors. You have to consider neutrality. These things matter, right? Like from the opposite's perspective, if Vegeta somehow like one-shot this UI Goku and UI Goku didn't trigger all that stuff, and then people were trying to say, oh, Vegeta's amazing. Look at Vegeta's one-shotting. It's like, yeah, but red beats yellow, right? So you got to factor in all these things. So again, it's a little weird, but also it's also, to be fair, not easy to see without seeing the difference in stars. Just looking at it, there's a huge team discrepancy here. This guy's got 800k more HP on this Goku. So I don't know if that's stars, bench, or what. Whatever it is. So like, there are discrepancies here that you can't really discern evenly. I liked this one because it was really funny. Happy Valentine's Day! He says, Happy Valentine's Day. That's great. I didn't see that from Team 4-Star if they did that. So Billy, my guy here, streets are saying, my boy Super Vegeta is cooked. Why do this to units for teams they know need help / are iconic moments? You have units like Beast, Gohan / Super 17 that can just enter the battlefield with cover null and strong damage inflicted. Why is it that Vegeta's getting held back on? Even Heat Dome Trunks Zenkai offers more utility than this new premium summonable Vegeta. Either adjust this character's kit, release an early plat, or actually properly buff Vegeta Clan in the future to give this Vegeta more value. Be able to get him into the fight after swapping out faster. So on this topic, so I already kind of touched on several of these things already. How like it is kind of weird when you look at Beast or you look at Super 17, newer characters that are able to do more immediately on entry and have an immediate impact on entry that the Vegeta doesn't have. That's why I said I think the Vegeta, I typically like having the nullify covers on like greens and stuff, but I think he should have had it on entry instead of on the nullify, or on the, excuse me, on the gauge. The gauge is cool. It's just really gimmicky how like it starts full, it has to deplete on exit, and then it comes back, and it's a weird gauge, right? So I think he would have been fine if he had it there. I don't love it there on the entry one, because if you have to play with the character defensively, things like that, then you're eating into the counts that you have it. But he also does, if I recall correctly, have it on the main ability. He also does, and the reason why he doesn't have it on entry, or he doesn't have it more easily on the green, is because he does do that little pseudo lock-in thing, right? So that's kind of why. If anybody's wondering why, is because they're trying to balance it, right? It's just weird, like I've said a billion times now, when you try to balance the game around unbalanced mechanics and in a meta with unbalanced characters. And that all, whether it's balanced or unbalanced, boils back to the testing of the characters. And when you talk about the testing of the characters, it's not simply, oh, they didn't test this, oh, they didn't do enough testing. Maybe that's more likely. It's not that they're not testing their characters. It's environmental, right? You have different players. You have different skill levels. You have different team compositions, different stars, different equips. Like, everything is different. So results are bound to vary, right? So when you look at character design and they produce these mechanics or give these characters certain mechanics, they don't want... There is a layer where they don't want every new character to be the best character in the game. They like to, and they have always done this, they like to preserve the top couple of spots for those characters, right? Where if a character hits that peak, they typically sit there for a long time, you know, a number of months, right? And obviously they have to put out X number of LFs a year. They're putting them out on a monthly basis. I mean, we had 2 last month. Like, they're putting out at least 12 a year, right? So they have to find room for certain characters to fit in and not fit in, right? As a result. Now, I'm not saying that I think Vegeta was purposely gimped. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just unveiling the fact that, or revealing the fact that the simple reality is that they don't want everything to be the best, so not everything will be the best. And I think if Vegeta came out, it has nothing to do with the, well, it does have something to do with the character, like a little bit. Like, they like Vegetos and stuff like, to be the best characters because it's freaking Vegito, right? UI Goku because it's freaking UI Goku. But if Vegeta released in a different climate, he might have been a little better. He might have been that top 1, right? But realistically, for a January, February release, it's kind of hard to get there. That's why, once again, when you peel back the curtain, you look at last month's releases, it's like, what the hell were y'all cooking there? What are you doing here? I also want to be really cautious not to be too critical right now of Vegeta, because I think the last thing Billy says might be what happens. If the Ultra is Trunks, right? Heat Dome Trunks or something like that. Maybe that's what we get, right? Maybe it's something else like Vegeta Clan related. Who knows what it is? Maybe if it's a Cell or Gohan, this won't help him. But maybe there's another Vegeta on the horizon. Maybe the next LF, you know, one of the LFs released in the next couple of months is Vegeta. Things like that to help Vegeta Clan. Then that's a little bit different, where maybe he will get more support. Maybe he's a character like Pikkon and Gogeta, where it's like, on release, yeah, the character is quote-unquote mid or not amazing, but they age like fine wine. Pikkon and Gogeta were talked about so in fact, I talked about the last release, I was kind of skeptical. They might have been it. I think they were it, where it's like, they were just kind of like, okay, well, I have Piccolo. I don't need this character. But then they aged better. They got a lot better, right? So that situation may arise here. That may arise here and with this team. And one thing I also want to say about this team is that their focus is not on teams for families, right? They also don't focus on the family team for Goku either. It's just, when you build these family teams, the question comes down to, why would you run these family teams instead of just running hybrids with, you know, or Saiyans with like Beast Gohan in the leader slot, right? You know, you can do things like that instead. And so, yeah, it looks like they care more about Sun Family because there's more Goku releases, right? That's kind of messing with the perception, is because they're dropping so many goddamn Gokus. It's not that those Gokus are for the family team, whether they have the Z ability or not. It's that they're putting them in for other teams, like the GT Goku that came out. He needed that. They could have done other characters, but you get the point. And by the way, there is more value in doing a Goku from GT than there is doing some other GT only character like Rildo or something that isn't going to fit into a bunch of other teams. The Goku plugs into a number of other teams, including the family team. So that's kind of why they choose certain characters. And it's unfortunate because Goku's the main character and people don't like that. They keep going back to Goku. I don't mind that as much. It's just that they did Goku, bunch of consecutive releases, right? And another thing that I think is also a little disingenuous about the discourse around Vegeta Clan is it was, oh, we're not getting Vegeta solo characters. And that's fair. And I've said I think that we will get a few this year. But I also think it's disingenuous to just completely disregard the tag characters that Vegeta has gotten. Like, he's gotten good uses. And really what it is that they don't put out enough characters for this grouping to where you can actually viably run it. And so, like, Goku's family is infinitely more catered to because you look at the Gohan releases, Pan a little bit, right? Gohan, Goku, like, they have enough characters there, whereas Trunks's, Vegeta's, these characters are releasing at a much more spread out rate to where there's not as many of them. So on the surface, it looks like, you know, this team just can't compete, which I'd agree with, by the way, because the Goku has there's so many quality Gokus in the game, things like that. But Vegeta also does have good tag characters, has had tag characters that are good over the course of the lifespan of the game, the tag, things like that. But nobody really talks about that as much. And like I said, the immediate discourse has been, oh, we don't want as many like Vegeta tags. We just want him to get a solo character, which is fair, right? That's totally fair. So let's see what we have here. 14-star Vegeta versus 14-star Goku UI. Post 9 counts. So Vegeta gets that buff after 9 counts, and you're seeing some of what he's doing here. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm sorry, my guy. Nothing against you. I don't understand it, and I don't want you talking over me or me talking over you. Vegeta's doing all right. Looks like he's not gonna get the kill though. Vegeta's also like hard shut down there because he could have switched to blue if he wanted to. He pulled the ultimate, which again, this is not Vegeta's fault. I want to keep saying this. This is not Vegeta's fault. This is a product of UI Goku dealing with ultimates. He's doing this to a lot of characters. Now, if the argument is Vegeta's not doing enough damage in general, that's fine. But look at UI Goku heal 800k life, basically, a little more than that. And then all the other shenanigans he does, right? So, like, I would consider that a factor. He almost killed him, though. He did almost get him. He did almost get him. He did almost get him. But I don't know. I'm not too mad at that, personally. I mean, he almost one-comboed your Goku down. Now, he does have advantage. So if the argument's that, you know, yellow versus red, he should have killed him, that's fair. But like all those variables I talked about, I'm not really all that mad about it. If I was recording that video happened to me, I would have been like upset myself if that was my Vegeta not killing. But yeah. Just to be clear, we are a bit disappointed, but the King is not unusable in any shape or form. Of course, he could and deserved to be better, but I am still going to have tons of fun. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you enjoy the character and you've been looking forward to the character, I definitely hope you enjoy him. Billy also posted the last hope of Vegeta Clan, the savior of the future, Ultra Trunks. I wouldn't be surprised. I just think, you know, there's a decent chance it's Gohan. So, yeah. And I also like this build here. I like this build, you know, using some combination of the top 4, assuming it is an Ultra Trunks. I like that build. That could be fun. And then this one kind of really upset me. Not like I'm angry, but like, you know, I was upset for Goku. Because I have seen him always looking for a Vegeta, and you know, and looking for this Vegeta. He's always asked for this Vegeta. So he put out a little thread, and I want to end it on this. He said, "This might be the last you hear from me in a while, so I'm gonna get things off my chest. This will most likely be a thread, as I'll need more than 140 characters. Today is the worst day I've experienced as a Legends player since I started playing in early 2019. Preserved with this terrible tag for years, using old, washed up, and average units while watching the same 3 to 5 tags get buffed nonstop." This is true. That's why I was saying that I wouldn't compare family teams. I would just compare, you know, Saiyan to Vegeta Clan, things like that, you know. Even Saiyan, you know, got a lot of releases, but the characters weren't buffing that team until recently that much. But nonetheless, they did buff the same teams. For most of you, that would be a problem. You just switch teams. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I don't know why you can't do that. You just don't want to do that. Want and can't aren't the same thing. But I do understand not wanting to do that. It was frustrating enough to get nothing but tag units for 2.5 years, most of which weren't even intended to fit on my team. Yeah, see, I don't really get the frustration. I understand the second part about not fitting on the team, but I don't understand why it's frustrating to get representation in tag forms. I think tags are awesome. I think tag characters are really damn cool. I think tag characters are super cool also. Also assists too, because they now can be used on more teams. Like I'll never have a problem with releasing of tag characters or assist characters. More characters in one, right? 2 in 1, whatever it is. In the case of 3 in 1 with Pan and all that stuff, I'll never have an argument. I think that's amazing. So like, that's why I said the discourse is kind of weird, because it was like, oh, we just want solo Vegetas because he didn't get any last year, and I get that. But I don't understand why it's frustrating to get tag characters. I do understand them not fitting on your team though. So yeah, I get that point. But to finally get something after all that time and then watch it get butchered is the worst feeling ever. There's always been a meme about the Legends devs disliking Vegeta, and I've always denied it, but this release has 100% confirmed it. It's no coincidence that they butchered his release every single time. It's past the point of being a coincidence now. If I speak. You've already heard what I had. It's nothing like crazy. What I was going to say is a little different, but you've heard what I have to say about this topic if you've been watching. And no, but anyway. Compare Super 17 to Super Vegeta, both the same color, the same rarity, both releasing onto a bare bones and struggling team. One was given everything while the other was massively gimped. It's always the same story. I'm sick of wasting my time and energy on this game. I have nothing to look forward to anymore, and that was made abundantly clear today. I just want to say that Twitter is not the place to post this. And not that like you don't want to post on your platform. It's just, I'm sure a lot of the replies are going to be insensitive stuff like boo-hoo, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of this, that's just the way people are online. And so I definitely feel from the perspective of wanting something and asking for something and wanting buffs to a certain team, and then you finally get it and it doesn't live up to it. You can apply that to anything in life, not just Legends, but if you really want something, you get it and it's not what you thought it might be. So I can understand from that perspective. And for that, my heart definitely goes out to Joku. Because like I said, I've been seeing him campaign for this character for a long time. And if you are like him, where you have been wanting this character, you really love Vegeta Clan, you've been wanting Vegeta Clan to get more characters dedicated to their team specifically, and you're very hard-headed, for good or bad, and don't want to build any other teams, whether it's Saiyans or whatever that would incorporate Vegeta, you don't want any tags, you don't want to use Vegeta's kids, things, well, I guess I should say Trunks, because we just got Bullet for the first time. You don't want to use any other team on like hybrids or whatever, you just want to use Vegeta Clan, and you don't like all the stuff that we've been getting, and you're in the situation Joku's in. I can definitely understand, right? That's why I said good or bad, you know, because the way I feel about it is like not so much that you have to switch teams, but I think you have more fun that way than just maining one team, by the way. But I do think that you should have an open mind, right? And I don't know if he falls into not having one or not. I haven't talked to him on the topic, but nonetheless, if you're like that, I definitely feel for you. So I wanted to share how the community is feeling about the new Vegeta release, so I open the floor to you again. Once again, how do you feel about it? Post it down below.